Okay, so yesterday I dropped a poll and it was a simple question. How much can you improve your marathon time in just 13 weeks? And the options were 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 15 minutes, or 20 minutes. And somebody commented, who's voting for 20 minutes when this guy has already been training for a long time? And that's a fair comment. This person had been training nearly 5 years. But whether you've been training 5 years, 10 years, or 20 years, what about if you've not been training right? And I'll give you one example of how to fix a part of your game and what impact just making one change can make to your result, but also your overall training. I'm Lee Grantham, a coach and a professional ultra runner who went from running a marathon in 4 hours and 25 to winning marathons and ultra races and running 2 hours and 21 for the marathon, representing my country for both the marathon and the ultra marathon. And there has been times in my running career where I've just had these big breakouts, and it's always when I've started working with the right people who really know what they're doing in a certain area and have really catapulted my progress. And it's not just improved my training for the short term, it's improved my training since I worked with those people. And some of those people I stopped working with 5 years ago, but I still follow exactly what they told me. And so if you're passionate about running and you've got the work ethic and dedication already nailed, and you want to start doing the right things consistently well and putting all that energy that you're putting in into the right things and train in a much smarter way and get much better results, then get in contact by booking a call in the description. So a couple of weeks ago, Leon sent me this. Just seen this upgrade your long run video, got 14 days until my marathon, one long run left, and was just about to go out tomorrow and do a 30k long run with 5 times 5 kilometers at marathon pace. And in short, my response was, it's too much and it's too close to your race. Bring it back and do 2, 3, maximum 4 and reduce the volume. And then yesterday he wrote me, hey Lee, back after you fixed my long run 2 weeks ago and mentioned me in your video. And all I can say is thank you. Yesterday I smashed my goal of a sub 3:30 that he was aiming for in my first marathon and clocked in at 3 hours 24. Super happy and totally finished. Now that's just one change to one run at, yes, an important time in the build up to get right. But the way that that could have turned out is he did 5 times 5 kilometers in a 30k long run, just 2 weeks out from the marathon, and he would have felt it on Sunday. He would have felt that fatigue in his legs after halfway, usually, and it would have led to him not hitting target. Now that's just one run. Now imagine we've got a 13-week build-up. No matter whether you've been training 5 years, 10 years, 15, 20 years, doesn't matter. What have you been doing? What about if we can improve every session? Every time you go out and run, what about if we can improve that by just 1%? Let's say you're running 5, 6 times a week, so you got 1 or 2 rest days. Over the course of 13 weeks, that's 65 to 78 runs. Imagine if we can move each run forward by just 1%. Make each run, whether it's a recovery run, an easy run, an interval session, or a long run, make those sessions 1% better. Imagine how that's going to improve your whole game, improve your training, and also have a massive effect on the result. And it's funny, but when I was really young, I just wanted to go exploring. I just wanted to go traveling and see somewhere different. I wanted to come to Asia and be one of those backpackers and just go on an all-out adventure for a year or 2 years. And in order to do that, I needed to save up money. I needed money in order to book the flight, in order to stay in the cheapest possible hostels, but I wanted to go on an adventure. I wanted to see the world. And in order to do that, I signed up at a local recruitment company and I would do any temporary job that they gave me. And so I would turn up at their offices at 7 o'clock in the morning with my bicycle, ready to ride to any job they had within a 20-mile radius. And so I did the worst jobs you can possibly think of. I was packing fish, I was blowing up footballs, I was making cakes, I was making cardboard boxes. And at some point they thought, okay, this guy's reliable. We can actually get him working in offices. And so I started to do things like filing and admin tasks and answering the phones. And I don't know about you, but at that age, I had quite a naive view of the world, of course. And so the people that I looked up to were the people I wanted to be like. I wanted to be like my sports teacher. I wanted to be like my father. And I thought quite positive. I looked at the positive influences or role models in my life. I didn't really think about those teachers you've got at school who can't get you excited about a certain topic. And I guess as a young boy, I just grew up thinking once you get to an adult, then you'll pick something that you're excited about, that makes you happy. And because you're doing it 40, 50 hours a week, you'll become good at it, and then you'll become an expert at it after 10 years. I thought that's the way the world works. But if you look around you right now in your work, and I've done this in any job that I've worked in, then the vast majority of those people are literally going through the motions. They're just doing the bare minimum in order to pick up the check at the end of the month. And all of a sudden, I found a career that the harder you work and the smarter you work, the more you get paid. And nothing else, no other type of career that didn't operate like that didn't incentivize you, would make sense to me ever again. And that's why running makes so much sense, because you put in a load of hard work, you put in a load of smart work, and you get the result that you deserve most of the time. You're gonna have bad races, of course you're gonna have bad races. There's gonna be times when you're putting in too much hard work, or you're not working absolutely smartly, and you get injured or ill. I've been there many times. It's not because the passion and the work ethic isn't there, it's because you've overdone it, and then you'll learn from your mistakes. And what I love about running is the first person to cross the line wins the race. There's no subjectivity about it. All the way up the ranks, it's exactly the same. The winner of the race is clear. And exactly the same with time. You cannot argue with time. If you run 2 hours 59 for the marathon, that is forever there for you. And when I got into running in 2010, I put all the work in. I just threw everything at it, just thinking input equals output. And for the first 2 to 3 years, I made all the mistakes you might think. I did too much in the gray zone. There was a lot of wasted energy. And then all of a sudden, I started to work with the right people who really knew what they were doing, and I got exponentially better. It was pretty easy in a year to move my marathon time from 4 hours 25 to 3 hours 25. But to go from that point to representing my country for both the marathon and the ultra marathon, that means you need to look under every stone and see exactly where you can improve in order to make the rest of your running game grow. I kept on improving, I was winning races, and I thought naturally, I must be getting towards the limit. I hadn't nailed the one race that I was trying to nail, the one time that I was trying to nail for 100K, but I was getting very close. And then we got a red herring event. We got COVID. And there were people who were extrinsically motivated. They needed those times, they needed the medals, they needed goals. I went back to the drawing board and I was like, okay, and I highly suggest that you do this task. What are the areas that I can improve as a runner? Where can I find improvements? And I brought it down to 8 to 10 different areas, and I marked myself out of 10 where I was. And to do that, to get that mark out of 10, I had to speak to specialists. And I was really lucky because in COVID, when everybody is locked behind doors, and also everyone's become a super user on Zoom or Microsoft Teams, everyone was available. And so I could speak to the best sports nutritionists in the country, in the UK. I could speak to strength and conditioning coaches who worked for the best Premier League football clubs in the country. And I would get an answer of, this is what I'm doing. This is exactly what I'm doing right now. What's my mark out of 10 and how can I move it up? For most of those areas, I was a 5 or a 7 out of 10. And so how can I get towards 9 or 10 out of 10? That was my task. And guess what? Every single area moves up the other area. So a simple example might be, okay, if you start doing hill reps, it's going to improve your running economy. It's going to improve the power in which you're propelling yourself up, and that's going to nicely translate into your faster running and also into your specific long runs. That's just one other area. And there are so many layers to the game that, of course, you can be moving forward. And so if I'm 10 years into my running career and I can still be finding really big gains, imagine how easy it is when I'm coaching an athlete who has been running for a certain amount of years, but all of the time, or 50% of the time, or 25% of the time, is doing stuff wrong that can be easily corrected in order to raise his entire running game, his entire training, and therefore, obviously, the race results. And the reason this is really important to me, it's so much more than running. Look around you again in your open office space and just think about the amount of people who are going through the motions, the amount of people who are just waiting for that check. That is a waste of life. And I know some people have just got to put food on the table. I appreciate that. But we all know the quotes. Bukowski, find what you love and let it kill you. If you can find something that you're incredibly passionate about, she's running for a lot of you. That's why you've got to this point in the video. And you can put all that energy in that you're currently putting in, not change the amount of time that you're working in a week, but put it all into the right type of training, a much smarter approach, then I promise you, that's a really exciting place to be. And during COVID, when I figured stuff out that I had way more to go, when I thought I was near my limit, and remember, by that point, I'd been a professional athlete for quite some years, then some people would be devastated by that news. To me, it was like, wow, we're just getting started. We're just scratching the surface. And I've got a result, like for like race, 50 kilometers uphill. 1 year, I won it. Next year, the next time I did it, I won it again. Exactly the same race, pretty much exactly the same time. And the second time I did it, I put almost a quarter of the effort in that I did in the first race. And obviously, as a marathon runner, as an ultra runner, that means you should usually go faster. But my only job on that day was to win the race. And so it was to put, like a Tour de France cyclist, it was to put the minimum effort in to cross the finish line first. Imagine what happens when you apply that same training to your running, and imagine how much faster you get. And the fun thing is, and that's a fair comment, who would expect 20 minutes after training so many years? I completely get that. But the fun thing is, it's pretty shocking when you make that happen and you become a completely different runner after you've been training for quite a few years. For me, it's a bit like learning a language. Once you learn it, then it's yours forever and you're not going to forget it. It's exactly the same with training. And it sounds as if training is way more simple. But once you start doing the right things consistently well and you see these results, then you're going to be training in that better way, getting more out of every single run and every single session forever. So if you've got big goals and you want to run much faster than you currently can, and you've already got the work ethic, the dedication, the determination, all that good stuff, and you just want the professional guidance in order to get you there and get you doing the right things well consistently, then get in contact by booking a call in the description. And if you just want to help improving your long runs or running better long runs, then these videos are great.